Everything changes when we get together.
That's the voice of Cortney McDermott. Hi there, my name is Matthew Blades, and welcome to a special 9-episode series of bite-sized content called a microdose for the things that keep you up at night. Here's the way I look at life. Each one of us is just a sequence of words away from having everything make sense, or at least gaining more clarity. So if you're ready to make a micro investment in you and walk through topics like blowing up what you built, tuning out the noise, becoming that transitional character, improving your health, your relationships, advancing in your career, then you found the right place. Welcome to a very special Learn from People Who Lived It. Welcome back. So this is episode number 5. We're kind of rolling through all of these different things that we kind of collectively decided were important to anybody who's looking to make some changes in their life. And I think that's a lot of people. It's almost everybody I meet. They're looking for something different, something else, something bigger, something more meaningful. And we ended last episode by saying something really important, which is everything we're focusing on in this 9-part series has nothing to do with other people, and it has everything to do with you. I know for me, and this episode is all about improving your health. Oh man, it's a scary thing for a lot of people to tackle their health, to go down the road, to see what's going on. But I'll just speak for myself. When I learned that I was the transitional character, you asked me in a few episodes ago, like, what did that mean? Like, legitimately, what did that mean? And one of the things that it meant for me was, well, if I'm the guy here to end dysfunction and make life better for the people around me, I better get healthy. I better start to take really good care of my body, because I think, was it you that has said, like, what if you only got one car for the rest of your life? How would you treat it? Was that you that said that, or somebody else?
No.
But it's a great quote.
Yeah.
It's a great way to think about it. Like, this is the only body we get. If you only had one car for your entire life, how would you take care of it? Boy, you would gas it up with the best gas. You would take it in for tune-ups all the time. Anything that squeaked, you go have it looked at. Like, you would do what it takes to keep it healthy, because it's the only one you get. So I want to talk about health, and the reason that I wanted to include this is because I've been lucky enough to work with Dr. Todd Hurst, who's in the longevity space now. And he single-handedly has had a humongous impact on my health and the way that I take care of myself. When I say, let's talk about improving your health, what do you think about?
Actually, the first thing I thought about is I got to take my car in. I've been hearing some strange noises.
You're like, it's the only one I got.
Dang it. I mean,
you can buy new cars. That's the thing. You can buy new cars.
Oh, but actually that in this really overly consumptive world, that's a great reminder right there is, hey, like you got this one thing, you got this one life. It's funny when I think about it, because I've been really grappling with this notion of I am not the body. And what's supremely magnificent about that is that I've noticed that when I put my consciousness on the perfection of the intelligence that's in the body, any ailments that I'm feeling have actually spontaneously gone away. I had some pretty phenomenal instances of this occur toward the beginning of the year, because I just had symptoms coming on for different things, and I just laid in bed and I asserted that this intelligence is perfect and therefore the body is perfect. And I know that might sound crazy to people who are listening. I know that would have sounded crazy to me a year ago, but I did that, and I'm telling you, within less than a minute, all of the things that I was experiencing, the coughing, the headache, the feverishness, all of it was gone. And I actually had someone around me at that time who noticed, like, oh, you were coughing, it's just gone. And I know, as far as I can tell, it was a combination of things. It was a combination of me getting my brainwave frequencies into a place of rest and relaxation. So I was moving out of the constriction of maybe being in beta, for instance, and moving into some of these other frequencies while deliberately giving that message to the body. And so when I hear this, yes, It's funny when you said, in your lineage, I definitely have some things in my lineage, but I didn't jump there. But I know that when we were talking about this earlier, my brother, for instance, he was saying, "Oh, I'm really worried about this thing because it runs in our family," and I had never even thought of it like that. I've done some research into epigenetics and things like that, and I think it's really important to understand that even though your genes are important and they're telling a story, it's also important, as far as I can tell, that motto of your genes aren't your destiny, or your DNA is not your destiny, right? It's something along that line of, again, tapping into the consciousness of something different and allowing yourself to believe. And then as a consequence, what's happened for me lots of times with that is my behaviors have changed as a consequence of the new character, like our previous episode, the new character, and really stepping into that. And so the behaviors and the actions have kind of followed a new potential.
We know this is true. There's been a couple of documentaries about people who have cancer and they've meditated it away. They've cured themselves of these crazy ailments because they've made a mindset shift about what it means to them. And so I know you're on par with this. And I'll tell you that when I'm around Todd Hurst and just listening to this brilliant man who's all about medicine talk about genetics, he's really clear to say one of the most, we kind of go back to this idea of a sequence of words away from what changes your life. He looked at me one time, and after getting all of the special testing that he did for me, he said, "We're removing that from your equation. You won't die of a heart attack. That won't be your fate. It just won't be it. I don't even think you're going to need heart surgery. We're going to get ahead of this, and you're going to make some lifestyle changes, and you're going to be fine. Don't even worry about it anymore."
Yeah.
Holy smokes, what kind of freedom did that offer somebody like me who's watched his dad die of a heart attack? So I have seen firsthand what it means to die from a heart attack, and I can tell you unequivocally, I do not want any piece of that. Yeah. And he told me that, we're removing that from the equation. But he said, to do that, to get back to something we said earlier, you need to take action. You need to eat right. You need to sleep. You need to be mindful and pray or meditate, whatever that means. But you need to connect to that center. That's an important thing. And he said something else. He said, you need community. You need people around you that feel good when you walk into the room. And those are the types of things that I believe can help us improve our health. Yes, taking some supplements. Yes, going on a retreat. Yes, going to the spa. That's all really wonderful stuff. But I think for me, and I especially am talking to the men who are listening to this episode right now, don't be so brave. Don't be so macho that you don't go get this thing looked at. And, one of the things that my mom said to me that just pissed me off one time, she said, "Matthew, we all have to die from something." And I was like, yeah, I get that. But it doesn't have to be that.
I'm really intrigued here because you're talking about the actions. I think you're saying the actions that you took led to you being able to embrace the new belief. Maybe. But I want to pause for a second because what I want to clarify with you for the listeners, and through your experience, hopefully we can get some more clarity on this, is one of the things I talk about is it's like a spin-off on Henry Ford being like, if you believe it or not, you're right.
I love that quote, yeah.
And one of the things I say, or one of the things I've noticed, at least to myself, is it's true, right? If you actually hold that belief with conviction, okay, your behaviors will start to modify themselves as a result of who you've become. But the question is, how do you shift the belief? So you went into this to this doctor who, again, lots of times we give our power away just because someone's in a white coat. We say like, oh, this person knows that I'm going to die of this thing because they're telling me I got 5 days. But we've seen that how many people have flown in a totally different direction from that. My question to you is, did the belief start to shift because the doctor told you? Because that happens, and it's called, I don't remember the technical name of it. It actually has a technical name, but like the doctor told you that's not going to be your destiny. So you embraced a new belief and you started new actions. Or is it more, and it might even be a combination of these, but what you talked about at the end of, I took different actions, allowed me to start believing that something else was possible for me.
It's a total combination of it, right? Because what happens first is you hear a voice that you trust, And so you hear this voice that you trust and they say something really meaningful to you. And then based on the way that that trust makes you feel, you then step into action. And then so by doing something, you're moving away from something else.
You know, you were sharing with me earlier today of another instance in your life of like when something deeper comes in and it says, you're good. You're good. And then you start listening to that more than the noise. Again, one of the earlier ones in this sequence or in this series that you got to listen to if you haven't. And you start listening to that more so that it can start guiding you out of kind of the distraction of like, for instance, your brother with the no sleep, you know, where it's like, I'm just constantly in that loop, and it starts to open up new potentials.
Yeah. I mean, just to get outside yourself. Like if you can't find the belief for yourself, then find somebody who can help you believe it.
Exactly.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to be getting into one more improvement area, except this time it's going to be about improving your relationships. Hang tight and we'll see everybody for episode 6 next.